Okay, so this is a bit of an unusual one today because we have got Ben Grove, who is normally behind the camera, in front of the camera today.
It's very strange
yeah,
feeling.
So Ben is the founder of Koncept. Do you want to give us a bit of an overview in terms of what Koncept does to begin with?
Yeah, of course. So we are a creative agency based here in Dubai. We specialize in branding, websites, content and marketing. So everything under kind of those umbrellas we do. We've got a small team, but we're all based here in Dubai. We've got clients all around the world, but the majority of our clients are in the UAE. We don't have a special niche. We work across all different industries. We get in-depth knowledge from all of those industries and all of those approaches that each client takes. And yeah, we try and apply it to sort of small to medium-sized businesses. We do work with some of the biggest brands in the world, but what we really love is small to medium-sized, where we've got a bit more of a blank canvas, a bit more of room to play, really, I guess.
Well, that's how we met, really, wasn't it? Let's be honest. And you know, Ben and the Koncept team have been on the journey with Stay Circle from the very beginning. So if you are a member and you've seen the website, or if you've seen any photos or any videos that have been shot, and also now the newly launched dashboard, that's all courtesy of you and your team that's managed to bring to life what's flying around quite actively in my head to life, and that's all because of you.
Well, thank you. I mean, yeah. I mean, but again, it's what we love. Like, I know a lot of people say this, but we genuinely love what we do, and I think the entire team feel that way. Where it's different every day, which is the main thing I love about it. It's like literally, you know, from one client to another, it's completely different industry, completely different projects we're working on. From one website to another website, it's entirely different, the approach. But yeah, I've really enjoyed the journey so far of Stay Circle. I'm excited for what the future holds.
Yeah. Exciting. And today we're in a slightly different location, right? So you talked there about diversity in terms of your brand and how you range from some of the world's biggest companies that you work with, alongside with SMEs, which are basically your passion, really. That's who you really want to work with, those SMEs, and be on that journey with them. And right now we're sat in a holiday home in downtown Dubai. Tell us a little bit about how your team have supported with what we're doing right here, right now today.
Yeah, I mean, so like you say, we've been on that journey from the start. So I think yourself and myself, it was very much kind of helping develop that strategy right from the beginning of kind of what this is and what the North Star of the business is going to be. And then working backwards from there. So it's like, how do we build the community and build the content, build the website and that all around it? So yeah, but Vivek from my team, so my web developer, he's been working strategically on the website to make sure that's all set up, structured, make it nice and easy for everybody. And not having the idea that we perfect it right from the off. It's very much a growing progress in it, and it develops over time. And then, yeah, Tasha and Robin working on the video content and photo content over the events and a lot of like what you see on social media and things like that as well. And yeah, just in general, the overall, like I say, marketing strategy and approach. And yeah, I think now we've sort of really, we trialed a lot for sort of like 5 to 6 months, and then now really launched this year, since the start of this year. I think it's really exciting for what the future holds and how much further we can take all of this.
I think you're right, and I think, you know, the way that you've put it there is like, we're not expecting, we know it's not going to be perfect from the outset, and I think working with you and your team is a dream, really, because you very much are aware of that, I'm aware of that, we're on the same page, and when we do experience hiccups because we're working with technology, let's be honest, we do, like, they're overcome quite quickly, and we can work through it together, which is really important.
And I think around that, it's the idea of, like I say, especially when we work with small businesses, we could strive for perfection. And don't get me wrong, like the work we do, I think is brilliant. I think the team are phenomenal at what they do. But I think it's that idea of actually especially when we're building something that's based around a community, it's like actually build the tools and the software and the systems that community need. So rather than us spending 6 months to try and perfect something, launch it, and it doesn't quite hit the mark, actually I'd much rather we launch early, we get the feedback, we gather real insights from the actual audience, and then build around their desires and their needs, because that really supports it. I think what we're seeing with the situation currently, there's never been a more important time for community, especially people that can share insights and share knowledge around the current situation, those that have maybe been through it before in times like COVID, those that are brand new to the situation, and how everyone can support each other. But actually it means, as a small business ourselves, we can adapt and be flexible and actually, like I say, build around the community and what they need in that moment. It's
having that flexibility and that ability to be able to pivot when you need to, right? And make those adaptations. And that kind of leads us on to sort of where we're at right now, because we started this week with shooting behind the listing and also short stay stories like we're on now. I know obviously your team have been, again, instrumental in that. But this also sort of does a little bit of a segue in terms of what else you can offer for the short-term rental sector as well.
Yeah. Like I say, like video and photo content obviously goes hand in hand, but I think what I've really enjoyed is getting to know the owners behind those properties and behind the businesses, because again, to see how they're dealing with current market trends, but also how they approach things. We were just saying in this apartment here, like it's the little things that make such a big impact that actually maybe you wouldn't think about, because you look on a piece of paper of what you need to start a short-term rental business, and the list is never ending, but you would always go to the big items, the cleaners, the facilities management, all that sort of thing. But you wouldn't think of the small little intricacies like, you know, kids' toys for when it rains in Dubai. I mean, it sounds crazy, it does, maybe one day a year, but it does rain in Dubai. So what happens then? If the people are in the apartment, they're here on vacation, how do you still ensure they have the most amazing time? It's little things like toys for the kids and entertainment for the family. So those little bits, but then again, I can take a lot of that away into my business and think of, oh, okay, how can I then put little bits like that into practice across the board? And then how can we bring what we do, a different level of knowledge of what we have across different industries, into the short-term rental market? So,
That's right, and I think that also sort of like leads into like your like USPs as well. Like we work obviously like within our community now, like we've got well over, I actually think we're close to 80 short-term rental professionals all sitting within the community right now, and every single business that works in the short-term rental space here has their own USP. And you talking there about the little things that happen, I think that is part and parcel of like your USP, right?
Yeah.
And everyone brings something different, and like what you're saying in terms of what you bring, like it's different.
Yeah, and that's where like, and I appreciate all the kind words you've said about us, but I think from a short stay circle perspective of what it's given to me is, it's a whole new world for me. Like, you know, short-term rental is not something I've ever really understood. So that whole aim of joining the community and being a part of the group was to understand that world a lot more. And I think the value that I'm getting from that is, like I say, it's just the small intricacies that each business bring and how they approach it and what they're looking for. So that could be an agent with one property under their belt, and it could be the people that have got 200 properties under their belt. They've all got a different perspective, and I absolutely love that. And whether it's learning about, you know, how they charge their rates, or how they make the experience individual for each person, even how they handle their check-in process, what you would think would be fairly standard across the industry absolutely isn't, and it's completely different. And I love that, and I love having that depth of knowledge in the room and being able to hear that. So again, that's why I love being a part of the community, because like I say, I don't understand this world, and I'm trying my best to understand as much as possible, and that's why I love being a part of it.
And it also is an opportunity as well to learn about all the moving parts. So obviously with Short Stay Circle, it's about the connections, right? So it's bringing these businesses together. So not just short-term rental operators, but also like businesses such as yourselves that can actually help the short-term rental community scale and grow their business, but also fellow trusted partners, for example, like fellow businesses that are all part of this community can all work together potentially in a trusted space.
Exactly, and that's the thing with Dubai as a city, right? It's phenomenal, and it's so fast-paced, and it's so action-packed with events going on. You could genuinely network from the moment you wake up to the moment you go to sleep every single day of your life. I think I've learned that over my 5 years of being here, is being very strategic in the rooms that I place myself in. And it's not always, you know, when people say networking or community, it's not always just about going in to sell. Obviously, it's a nice bonus if you can profit off of these things, but ultimately, I want to learn when I'm in that room. So like I say, being in that room with these people and high quality people, and that trusted partner process really was attractive to me, because actually anybody that's a service provider in that space has gone through a vetting process, gone through an understanding of actually, are they high quality? Are they providing the services they say they are? And actually, can they bring value to everybody that's in that room? And I think again, like, you know, if we can align with those sort of people, everybody benefits.
Absolutely. Okay, Ben, so we've talked about a little bit about concept, we talked about Short Stay Circle. Let's talk about you. So what led you to start Koncept in the first place?
That's a big question. I mean, I've always wanted to. So ever since I was a kid, I was always into like drawing, designing. So whether it's skateboards, football kits, t-shirts, that sort of thing. And then when I got a little bit older, I realized that was a thing called graphic design. So I was like, I'm gonna teach myself. We did graphic design in school, but it was very basic essentials. So I kind of really went on this journey of teaching myself tools like Photoshop and Illustrator and how they all work. I then left school, applied for about 60 plus jobs as a graphic designer. Nobody wanted a fresh out of sixth form, so like high school, I guess, in America. Nobody wanted a fresh, 18-year-old to come in that had no industry experience to come in and do that. So I waited a few years, worked on building sites and things just with my dad to kind of pass the time. Applied for a apprenticeship in the UK, which is kind of like a real entry-level role. I think I was on a whopping £2 an hour for about a year at 21 years old, when I felt like I was way behind a lot of my friends and people I knew. And then, kind of went on that journey and fell in love with digital marketing. So I went in as a digital marketer with the idea of showing that company, I'll be really good at graphic design, and show them they should hire me as a graphic designer. Actually fell in love with the digital marketing world. Fell in love with websites, branding, all of that sort of stuff. And then, from there, it was kind of born this idea of I would always love one day to run my own agency. Moved out to Dubai in 2021, ran an agency out here for another business owners for 2 years. And I just thought, if not now, then when? And then that was where Koncept was born. And I had the idea one day, and then about 3 weeks later, I was there with a trade license up and running. And I'm still here 3 years later. So that's kind of been the journey so far, yeah.
What would you say, I've got a couple of questions here for you, but let's say, like, what has been the most challenging thing for you so far in terms of going and getting that trade license to launching to where you are today?
I mean, I didn't really, if I'm honest, I didn't really think about it that much. It sort of happened a little bit by accident, and a few things kind of fell into place that just sort of ended up in that result. I think at the time my wife would have probably said to me, think about it a little bit more, but I'm not that sort of person. I just went and did it. So I wouldn't say the actual starting process was tricky, and I've been incredibly lucky with the people I know and the network I already had, that we've literally been busy since day one. I mean, we're a marketing agency that's never done any marketing for ourselves. So we're a terrible example of what we do, but it means we've traded purely on word of mouth, and we've grown our team from that way. I think the challenge so far has been probably the balance. I think it's very much a myth of people say, work for yourself, you'll have much more flexibility and free time. You end up working 3, 4, 5 times as much sometimes. But also that balance of letting go, I think, has been my biggest challenge, of bringing in the right people and conscious of bringing in the right people in the team to help me take this in the direction that I want to take it in. As soon as I did it once, I realized that actually I don't need to be the bottleneck. I don't need to be the only person, and I'm not the best person, best suited to all these skill sets that I need to help grow this team. So I brought the team in, and I've been so thankful that I have, because it's completely overhauled what we do, completely overhauled the work that we can provide, the level we can provide it at, and the amount of work we can do. So that was a huge hurdle to overcome, but once I did, I'm now so thankful I have.
Yeah, and I think, in the time that I've known you and been working with you, you've gone and you've scaled this business massively, really, in the last year or so. And you've talked about hiring your amazing team and how fundamental they are now to your business, and that scaling even more and removing yourself as the bottleneck. When you're talking about finding the right people, I think that comes back to values. So what would you say are the values that underpin everything that you guys do at Koncept? I
think it's really hard, because we've not really done our own brand values in the way that we do for our clients as well, right? I've just been finding my way as we go. But I think one thing that stood out, if I look back at the team that I brought in, it's very much been the attitude underpins absolutely everything. So maybe not the most skilled on paper or the most experienced on paper, because I know back when I was first starting out, I wanted just an opportunity and to show that I could do this work. And even if I couldn't, I would figure out how to do it. So the team now all have come in, and over everything, phenomenal skill set, don't get me wrong, but underpinned by everything would be that attitude that they had to work hard, drive forward, continue to develop and progress, and actually improve their skills as well. Because that's what I like to think about myself. So I would like my team, especially the early stage team, where we are very small. We're only a team of 5. We can't hide in this business. If you're responsible for a certain department, you've got to be really on it and really good. And that's what everyone is right now. And I've been incredibly lucky that it's worked out really, really well for me so far. And I hope that long continues. So yeah, I would say the one thing I look for in everybody is just the attitude and the approach. Because
skills, to some extent, you can teach, right? Personality, not so much.
Yeah, and because we're small, and because we very much work pretty much exclusively remotely as well. So it's I need people I can trust and people I can rely on. And if I'm in a day full of meetings or podcast records, I need to know that website development is still taking place and taking place on time, deadlines are being hit, client relationships and that management is being handled, because I can't be everywhere all at once. And I've realized that I actually don't need to be. I think that was my concern originally, was I had to be. But again, brought in the great team, and now they've been actually, a lot of those team members are trusting more than I am now, which is great. And I would love for it to continue that way.
And it's also, you've got high standards, isn't it? So it's making sure that those high standards are met, which I think sometimes can make it hard.
Oh, incredibly,
to feel like you're letting it go. But when you hire right and you hire correctly, and you've got people that are able to keep up to those standards and maybe even, overlap those standards.
Yeah.
And
especially
a winner.
in the creative fields as well.
Yeah.
Because, again, as I'm sure people would argue, but in some finance-related roles, for example, it's either right or it's wrong. You know, it's very data-driven. It's done based on the numbers. Whereas for us, it's so subjective. And what we think looks good versus what a client may think looks good can be entirely different ends of the spectrum. And I think that was a big thing I had to let go of, is in my head, and I feel like I had to be to really get things going, was I thought I was the only person that could develop a website in the way that I think it should be done. But actually, I brought somebody else into the team and then go, wow, they are so much better than I am. But it was just letting go of that control in that initial stages. Video content, photo content, I have no control over that. I don't know how to do it. I could do it as a hobby, I can pick up my phone, but actually Robin and Tasha can do phenomenal work in that area where they're the experts, and I will leave them to it because I can trust them, and they built on that. So again, they've got phenomenal skills that are there, but it's definitely, again, their work ethic and approach is just, you know, I can't really compare it to anyone else.
Exactly. Go team Tasha and Robin. And
I'm not just saying that because they're behind the camera either. So.
And that's it. And I think that's really important. So then, look, you're a few years in, 3 years in, right, with Koncept. Yep. What would you say is your proudest moment today?
Oh, wow. That's a big question. I wish maybe you had prepared me for that. I don't think there's a singular moment I can underpin. And I wouldn't say it's a particular, I mean, we love our clients and we love the projects we work on. Like I say, genuinely everything we work on, we're in a luxury position where we can pick and choose a little bit about what we work on and only work with the clients we feel we can make a difference. So I wouldn't say there's one particular project or one particular thing we've done. I think maybe, and this is going to sound a bit soppy, and maybe the guys behind the camera will hold this over me for the rest of my life, but I think it probably was like at the end of last year, it was the realization that I needed to throw a Christmas party with the team. Yeah. And we did something quite simple. We went to Brass Monkey, we played bowling, we had a few drinks and things like that. But it was kind of looking there and being like, this is my team that I've curated. And it was a personal proud moment, but also from a company proud moment. It was like, you know, this is the team. This is the guys that make all of this possible. And when you look back now, we're just, you know, developing websites and proposals and things that were probably long overdue for ourselves. But actually looking back on the work we've done, we're like, we've done some phenomenal, incredible things. We worked with one of the biggest crypto companies in the world, but equally we worked with brand new startups like yourself, where we've taken it from an idea to actually seeing people in a room together, talking about the brand and talking about the thing we've built. And like that makes us incredibly proud too. So yeah, it's probably just the fact of looking back and reflection of the team that we've built around this.
You have got a great team.
Everyone says, and that is genuinely one of the nicest things, is that everybody says that to me. And like, that is the biggest compliment I can get. It's like, I don't, you know, it's nice when people say, oh, your website looks nice, or your logo looks nice, the work you've done looks good. But when people say, you know, I'm so, literally told this week from one of the shoots you guys did earlier in the week, somebody said to me, I'm never ever comfortable in front of camera. But your team made me so relaxed, I almost forgot the camera was there. Wow. Somebody else told us that the website work we've done is phenomenal. The editing we've done on a podcast trailer, they said is the best they've ever seen. Like, that is such a big compliment to me, rather than myself. It's like, no, your team are excellent. I absolutely love that.
Amazing. Thanks, Ben. Well, it's been a pleasure to hear more from you today and dig a little bit deeper. Thanks. I mean, it's great to have you in front of the camera because quite often you are not.
Yep.
And yeah, it's been fantastic. Thanks very much, Ben.
Thank you. I've enjoyed it. And like I say, I'm really looking forward to what else the community can bring going forward.
Oh, there's plenty more to come.
Thank you.
Thanks.